Good morning, I hope you're all well. I am starting this video today in our garden as Mum and I are off to the Malvern RHS show, which is really exciting. It's a gorgeous sunny day and I thought I would bring you along with us.
Adam Frost!
We use a ratio of 60% compost and 40% grit, so it is really free draining. Now, the important thing about repotting your cacti is that you don't go too big. If you go too big too quickly, you'll end up with a risk of your roots rotting. So just go up one size, one size, one size, one size.
It's now the following Wednesday after the Malvern show. I didn't film as much as I originally wanted to because it was so hot and so busy. I just slowly wilted like a flower, but it was really lovely. There was so much there, so much more than I expected there would be, so I'd highly recommend it as a day out. So I thought I would show you what I've got growing at home in the garden in terms of veggies. And then bring you along to the allotment to do some jobs there this afternoon. You'll have to excuse the fashion accessory. I'm really trying to improve the sound quality of the videos, so you might just have to bear with me a little bit. I might have to look for a new microphone that picks up the sound a little bit better, but what I'm trying to do is just put it a little bit closer up and see if that helps. Right, so let's see what I've got growing here in my mini greenhouse. I am recording a voiceover for this section because the wind was in force when I filmed this. So in the back corner we have leeks, and the variety is Hannibal, and I then have quite a few tomatoes that I'd sown myself. I've sown honeycomb and burlesque and picked up a tumbling variety that I will be putting in a hanging basket at home that I got from a local garden centre. Here are some more peas. I already have some pea alderman at the allotment, but they're not doing so well. So this is pea sabrina that I've sown as round 2. Next up are butternut squash, wasn't originally going to sow butternut squash because of the temperature, but I thought I would give it a whirl anyway. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll germinate. Then over here we've got a few spring onions and celery, and then some salad onions. Here is some courgettes that haven't come up to say hello yet, but I'm holding out hope. And I have bought a backup from the garden centre just in case. What do we have here? So we've got some zinnias, rudbeckia, nicotina lime, basil, red opal, and some lettuce. This is moon red, and the seeds came in a tube, which was quite unusual. They were big round seeds, as opposed to the smaller kind of grass-like seeds that you normally see. I've got a few aubergines and some kalettes here, garden mixed, which I'm really looking forward to. And then finally on this layer some squash, which have taken a while to pop up. Now in the second layer I have some French beans, dwarf French beans and runner beans that are all coming up nicely now that I sown on the 8th of May. I've got some cabbage grade pound and chilies, lots of chilies and lots of celery on this level, with some coriander, French marigolds and sweet corn. And moving down to the bottom layer, I have sown some cosmos mixed, some marigold, African lime, and some mixed stocks as well there for the garden. And here are some sad looking sweet corn sowing one, and quite a few salvias that I took as cuttings from my plants last year. And then over to the right we have a collection of more cabbage greyhounds, some purple sprouting broccoli and some radish, and hiding at the back are some beetroots. What I will say is that little greenhouse from B&Q has done me so well. Everything grows really well in there. Even when it was really cold, it did very well. And I think if I had a second one, then it would just be perfect. I am starting to I have been running out of space with that one. But yeah, if you had two of them, I think there's more than I need at the moment anyway. And this I think is my favourite addition in the garden at the moment, and I've just sown some mixed lettuce. I cannot remember what this is, but it's so delicious, and I've just been picking the young leaves and they just keep growing back, and the same with this one. Got some beetroot here that I need to prick out and plant out, which I did start doing a few yesterday, and one very healthy kohlrabi sitting on the end here, which I'm just leaving in there because he's so happy and healthy, hasn't been nibbled by anything. Got my dahlias all ready to go out here, and in this terracotta pot is some Burpee's golden beetroot that I've grown on in here, and an old milk carton because I'd run out of containers and couldn't be bothered to go into the garage. The family dog who's visiting, munching away at an old stub there, his favourite thing to do. These tubs I usually grow potatoes in, which I am doing around the corner. Dog number 2, come to say hello. But I thought I would experiment and just pop some carrots in here, and a few radishes and so forth. And I've ended up just, sticking in bits and bobs of everything and seeing how they go. So the radishes are doing so much better at home that I'm not going to plant them out in the allotment anymore. I'm just going to keep growing them at home instead. So I've got radishes here, a few more lettuces, carrots that have germinated and are very strong, and then some spring onions there. So a little container, but lots of variety. So you really don't need much space to get some veggies growing. And the same with this one. This is a bigger container, but I've got 3 onions which are super healthy, and starting to bulb up nicely now. Some more spring onions again, radish and lettuce in there too, to excuse the dogs trying to eat the long grass. But yeah, I put a few more beetroots in these terracotta tubs that had some bulbs in, and they've gone over, so I thought I would reuse them for something else. And this is a golden autumn raspberry bush with some lovely yellow fruits in the autumn. And as we're around this corner, I have a few strawberries that were in pots in the last couple of years, but we were struggling and I didn't have many fruits. So I've popped them in the ground to overwinter, but they're doing really well, so I'm going to leave them there. So I will go over to my potatoes and what else have I got? See what else I've got quickly. Because the radishes were really struggling at the allotment, I thought I would plant out the ones that I had grown and that were ready, itching to get out into the soil in this tub here as another window box by the kitchen. And they look to be liking it there so far. And then I have some more lettuce that I've just grown on in grape punnets, and they're just excellent, so tasty, having fresh pickings of lettuce. And then I've got some rocket here, again just sown in the container that I had in the garage. Okay, I've got 4 potato tubs here, and what am I growing this year? I think my second earlies are Charlotte, because they are just always delicious. I've always grown them in pots. I've put some in the allotment in the ground, but just continue to plant some, excuse me, in pots as well, just because they're super reliable and tasty. And then I believe I've got King Edward as my main crop. I might just need to check that. Here they are, and apologies, you just have to ignore the background mess. We've definitely got lots of work to do on our garden, and this area is a little bit of the hiding dumping ground. But these are I've got 2 main crops in there that are poking up, and the earlies are main in here too, and they're doing so well. And what I've been doing is just earthing them up with grass clippings instead of using more compost this year, which I haven't done before, but it should keep in the moisture a little bit better. I also visited a local nursery today that I haven't been to before, and if you're local in the Cotswolds, North Cotswolds area, it's the Quarry Nursery near Hornton and kind of near Edge Hill as well. And it's a really little, cute, very traditional nursery with polytunnels, quite small, but loads of lovely vegetables and gorgeous flowers and perennials, and very reasonably priced. So I picked up a few things there to have as backups for my seeds that aren't quite germinating as well. So I picked up some sweet corn, courgettes and squash, so more of the heat loving plants. Now it's going to be outfit number 3, as I'm going to head over to the allotment, bring Mum with me. We're going to do some grass cutting, general maintenance, and yeah, and see what else we can get up to. Made it to the allotment now. My mum has just gone to get the mower. She loves to mow. She'll be watching this and smirking to herself. She mows the lawn at her house just so often. It's like the equivalent of hoovering. So she'll love to get stuck into this. But in my last video, I was talking about how we need to get the polytunnel cover on. So we're going to do that now before we use up too much energy. is being an absolute trooper and whizzing around with the mower, I'm going to do the slightly nicer job of planting out some celeriac monet that I bought from the nursery as well. I have 10 here. I'm going to start with just planting out 5 somewhere quite sunny in one of the outdoor beds. One of the beds, like the no-dig bed area, because at the moment everything in the cage seems to be struggling. So I'm also going to get some beer traps in the cage area shortly too, because I think that's the answer. Just taking a look at the pak choi that I planted out in my last video, and they seem to be doing well now I've covered them over with some netting. They were starting to just get nibbled, but I'm hoping the netting has saved them. I also popped in a couple of celery here too. I've been saving up a lot of cardboard from deliveries, and I'm going to lay this where I am creating the extra no-dig beds. We moved the black polythene off, mowed around. I'm going to just start covering this area with cardboard, and we'll lay the black plastic back over it until I come again. To continue the beds, I have a few pallet collars in the shed, which I plan to put here, I think. It just depends on how much time is taken getting things planted and keeping things alive over the next few months. So this might be a job for a little later in the season, or I might be able to just get a couple going and then kind of rejig this area for the next growing season. Thank you for joining me this week, and I will see you again soon. Bye!